It's often argued that success is about timing, fate, waiting for the stars to align. That's not true. It's about audacity. Fortune doesn't belong to the patient. It belongs to those who impose their will on uncertainty. What I am about to share with you in this video will not only make you cash rich but also mentally wealthy. I'm going to show you how to become rich from nothing. Not by luck. Not by shortcuts. But by these 9 unbreakable laws that transform the mind, the habits, the environment, and the destiny of anyone who dares to apply them. This is a part 2 of the series Getting Rich from Nothing. I will put the link to the part 1 at the end of this video. Kindly smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get right into it. 1. The law of mental revolution. Everything begins in the mind. Your life right now is a reflection of the beliefs you've accepted. If you believe wealth is impossible, you will never recognize the paths that lead to wealth. If you believe rich people are evil, you will never allow yourself to join them. If you believe you don't deserve success, you will reject every opportunity that tries to find you. That is why the first step in getting rich from nothing is changing your psychology and stop negotiating with your limitations. Because a person trapped in their own mind will remain trapped everywhere else. Let me tell you something motivation won't. Your financial position is not an accident. It's not the economy. It's not bad luck. It's a reflection of the skills you chose to develop. Or more accurately, the skills you avoided because they demanded a version of you that scared you. Real power comes from ability, not morality. The ability to shape your environment when the world gets unpredictable. That's the trait that separates builders from beggars. And it starts with one question. What will you become exceptional at? Here's what I did. I opened a search engine and typed, professions of self-made millionaires. Not billionaires. Millionaires. People who built wealth through skill, not inheritance. I wrote down every profession that appeared twice. Then I asked, which of these could I do 10 hours a day without feeling dead inside? Most people never ask that. They chase money in fields they hate and wonder why they burn out before they break through. That's not ambition. That's self-destruction disguised as ambition. So I made a grid. Axis 1, competence. What am I good at or could be with discipline? Axis 2, curiosity. What pulls my attention even when no one is watching? Where those two meet, that's where the seed of power is buried. For me, it was entrepreneurship. Not because I wanted to be my own boss, but because I realized something darker. I could no longer stomach another human being deciding my time, my income, my future. I needed sovereignty. Even if it meant risk. Even if it meant failure. Even if it meant stepping into a world where no one was coming to save me. Control, even when it comes with danger, is the first act of rebellion. But no one tells you what happens next. The moment you choose growth, you will be judged. Not by strangers. By people closest to you. Because your growth becomes a mirror for their stagnation. They will feel it as an accusation. A threat. A reminder of everything they chose not to become. 2. The law of isolation. There comes a moment in your journey where the world cannot come with you. Friends won't understand. Family will doubt you. Isolation is not punishment. It is preparation. Every transformation has a cocoon stage. Don't fight it. Use it. You cannot build a kingdom surrounded by people committed to crawling. This isn't an insult. It's structural reality. When I started, I lost friends. Not because I abandoned them, but because they couldn't accept the person I was becoming. They joked. They doubted. They pulled. Because human nature is wired for conformity. The tribe survives together. The outlier gets eaten by wild beasts. So when you rise, they will try to pull you back. Not because they hate you. Because your rise makes them question the ground they stand on. This is called psychological exile. It comes before ascension. And here's the hard truth. That loneliness you feel? It's not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's proof you're on the only path that leads somewhere real. Isolation is preparation. But isolation alone won't save you. If you remove anchors, you must install sails. And that takes us to 3. The law of replacement. You don't remove habits. You replace them. You don't delete an old identity. You override it. You don't escape who you are. You upgrade to the best version of yourself. Whatever is stealing your time, stealing your energy, stealing your attention, stealing your destiny must be replaced with what creates value. So I rebuilt my circle. Not through begging for mentors, but by studying giants from a distance. I made a list of 10 people who operated at levels I admired. Most were unreachable. Some were gone. But I could study their patterns, their systems, their risk tolerance, their failures, their language, their posture, their standards. I didn't want to worship them. I wanted to compete with them. Don't collect mentors like trading cards. Extract what you need and implement. Stop waiting to be chosen. Choose yourself. Because once you decide who you are becoming, you will face the next test. 4. The law of risk. If you fear risk, you fear growth. And if you fear growth, you fear wealth. Understand this. Comfort has destroyed more destinies than failure ever will. Risk does not guarantee success, but avoiding risk guarantees regret. Most people fear debt, fear risk, fear stepping into the unknown. That's why they stay poor. Not just financially poor, spiritually poor. Starving for a life that means something. Risk is not a threat. Risk is a tool. Used recklessly, it destroys you. Used strategically, it forces evolution. When I walked away from my stable income, I didn't have a safety net. I had a skill in progress, a credit line, and a promise to myself that failure would cost me more than success ever could. Terror became fuel. Because when retreat is no longer an option, advancement becomes inevitable. But skill and risk are useless if you're fighting in the wrong rooms. 5. The law of powerful rooms. Your environment is a prophecy. Stand among the broke and you will learn excuses. Stand among the rich and you will learn strategies. A powerful room changes you without permission. It raises your standards. It forces you to confront your potential. The fastest way to increase your value is to increase the quality of conversations you are exposed to. Because what you hear consistently, you eventually become. There are rooms in this world where decisions are made that shape industries. If you're not in those rooms, you live inside consequences created by people who are. So I bought access. Not luxury. Proximity. Workshops. Masterminds. Private dinners. Small rooms where everyone had achieved something I hadn't. I didn't talk. I observed. Because power respects movement, not potential. Don't enter powerful rooms trying to impress. Enter prepared to contribute. Show what you're building. Ask for feedback, not approval. That's the posture of a peer, not a beggar. Then comes the next. 6. The law of persuasion. Money follows value. Value follows attention. And attention follows communication. You don't need to manipulate. You need to articulate. You don't need to deceive. You need to believe. Persuasion is when your confidence becomes contagious. When your conviction enters the room before your voice does. Every empire begins as an idea sold to someone. Every movement begins with belief transferred from one mind to another. Persuasion isn't manipulation. It's alignment. Aligning someone's self-interest with your vision. People don't buy products. They buy identity, a future version of themselves. But before you sell to anyone, you must sell yourself to yourself. Because a voice that doubts itself collapses under pressure. A voice that believes becomes a force of nature. Learn persuasion. Learn measurement. Learn control. Because hope is not a strategy. 7. The law of precision. The universe responds to clarity. If you say, I want to be rich, nothing happens. But if you say, I will earn $10,000 in 90 days by monetizing this specific skill through this specific service, suddenly your mind starts calculating pathways. Precision turns dreams into coordinates. It turns wishes into strategies. Motion is not progress. And dreams without metrics are hallucinations. Reverse engineer your goals. Break them into daily proof. Discipline converts chaos into momentum. Consistency becomes destiny. You are the CEO of your existence. Run your life like a business. Track what matters. Cut what doesn't. 8. The law of hunger and necessity. Wanting success is weak. Needing success is unstoppable. Hunger is the fuel of those who refuse to die ordinary. Necessity is the pressure that turns potential into performance. When your back is against the wall, when failure is not an option, when your dreams are the only exit, that is when something ancient and powerful awakens in you. The gap between who you are and who you could be? Don't resent it. Hug it tight. That gap is fire. It's the fuel. The birthplace of identity. Most see the gap and quit. The relentless see it and burn. Because when failure becomes unacceptable, greatness becomes non-negotiable. Fortune does not reward the deserving. It rewards the relentless. Those who dare. Those who measure. Those who adapt. Those who strike with precision, patience, and power. If you're still here, you already know you're not like most people. Most people would have quit at the first uncomfortable truth. But you didn't. Because something inside you refuses to stay silent. A hunger. A whisper. You were meant for more. This is the beginning. The foundation. The framework. And finally, 9. The law of dominion. At some point, you must stop surviving and start ruling. Wealth is not just income. It is ownership. It is authority over your time, your choices, and your identity. It's not just how to rise, but how to rule. How to build systems that compound. How to create money that works harder than you do. How to turn leverage into legacy. This is the path of the self-made millionaires. And if you're ready to walk it, I'll see you in the next video. Check the links on the screen for part 1 of this series and other valuable videos that will transform your financial life. Remember, you don't become rich when the money shows up. You become rich the moment your identity changes. Money is just the aftermath.